Hello everybody, Michelle here, Michelle Beckner Family Wellness. How's everybody doing this morning? Let me just plug in my headphones because my heater just went on down here and it's kind of loud. Okay, so today we are talking about inflammation. I've been getting a lot of questions about inflammation lately, and so I think today will be a good one. The type of questions that I get on inflammation usually are, I've got a baby with me too, as usual, right? The type of questions I've been getting on inflammation over the past, I don't know, month or two, I've been seeing a lot, is what exactly is inflammation? Like, you talk about it a lot, but what does that mean? And what does that have to do with my baby? How does that affect my baby? And then also, what does it mean if my baby has inflammation in their gut? Because I also talk about that quite a bit, right? We talk about gut health a lot. We talk about how gut health is plays a big role. It's usually the root cause of a lot of your baby symptoms. So sometimes just eliminating dairy or a trigger food is all it takes for baby symptoms to clear up. But a lot of times, and with a lot of the moms that I work with, it's a lot more complicated than that. And that's when we dive into gut health. That's when we really talk about inflammation and reducing inflammation. But like, okay, so we talk about this a lot, but what exactly is it? And why do I have to worry about it? How does it affect my baby? And what is inflammation in the gut? So if you have any questions about inflammation as we get going, just leave them here in the comments and I'll make sure I get to them. I know I have one question ahead of time, so I'll make sure I get to that by the end. Yeah, I'm going to be looking at my notes because this is literally straight from my baby skin solution program. I just pulled up the slides from it, and I'm going to be kind of picking and choosing some things that I feel like are relevant for us to talk about today. So let me take a sip of my tea. Okay, so in order for us to understand inflammation, we first, I think, need to understand just a little bit about the immune system and how inflammation is kind of part of the immune system. So our immune system, we all kind of know, right? Especially with COVID going on, like the immune system's getting a lot of talk. But our immune system is basically our body's natural defense system to keep us healthy, right? To prevent us from getting sick. It fights against any foreign intruders in our body. So that could be viruses, it could be bacteria, it could be things that we're allergic to, right? So anything that the immune system sees as a threat, it's the immune system's job to protect us against it. Let's see. I'm just looking at my notes, make sure I don't miss anything. So I have here, it's our body's defense system against any organisms or substances that are seen as a threat, right? So that's kind of what we said. I won't go into that. All right, so I have so much that I can say about this kind of stuff. So inflammation. So now that we understand like the role that the immune system plays, right? Inflammation is what our immune system does when it sees these foreign invaders, right? When it sees these threats, it's our immune system's natural response to promote healing. That's what inflammation is. So it's like, wait a second, Michelle, you keep talking about inflammation all the time like it's a bad thing, but that sounds good. Like that's what our immune system does to promote healing, right? And that is true. It's totally true. Inflammation can be a good thing. It's the difference between chronic inflammation and acute inflammation, which we really want to understand and really get to the bottom of. Same thing if you're thinking about like chronic stress versus acute stress. Chronic stress, we don't want to live with every day, right? But acute stress is good for us because it helps our body, it helps protect our body. If it's the typical example, right? If you're getting chased by a tiger, like we want that acute stress to send our bodies into fight or flight mode, do all the right things, shut down shut down digestion and things that we don't need, turn on adrenaline and things that we do need. Like that acute stress response is really important. Chronic stress is what we don't want. Same thing with inflammation. Baby's grabbing a cup of pencils. Acute inflammation is good. That's what helps protect our body. We get a cut, right? And our body's protecting us from any sort of infection. So it gets like a little bit warm, right? So bacteria can't grow. It turns red. That is acute inflammation. You have a sore throat, right? So you have some sort of viral or bacterial infection in your throat. So your throat gets kind of swollen and sore. You get a fever. That's acute inflammation, and that's good for us. We want our immune system to be able to respond with this acute inflammation to promote healing. But then we want it to go away, right? We want our body to do its thing. We want our body to heal, get back to normal. Everything's all good. Immune system can relax again. No more inflammation. All good, right? Chronic inflammation is something that is widespread. It's long lasting and it's often hidden. So, your baby may not have symptoms that you see all the time. Maybe it's hidden in their gut, right? So that you end up seeing it in the form of mucousy or bloody poops, right? Or maybe you don't see anything at all, but then baby is introduced to, like, you accidentally have a slip up, or there's something that triggers their body, triggers inflammation, and all of a sudden their symptoms are back, right? So that's telling me, and Andrea, this kind of answers your question if you're watching. Andrea was wondering the difference between, how does she tell the difference between like this chronic, let me see the words that she used. How does she tell the difference between ongoing residual inflammation, so that's what I would call chronic inflammation, and a flare-up or reaction? Okay, well, that's telling me that there probably still is some chronic inflammation that's hidden in baby's body, so that when you do eat something that they're sensitive to, that does trigger their immune response, and then we see symptoms, right? Then the inflammation appears. That's telling me that they have some sort of chronic inflammation that we really want to get to the bottom of, so that their body can handle, right? So that their body can handle all these little things that it seems like baby's sensitive to all the time. Well, baby's not sensitive to every little thing. It's that we need to get to the root of it. We need to reduce inflammation. We need to heal the gut. We need to get rid of that chronic hidden inflammation, so that baby doesn't have reactions and flare-ups to seemingly every little thing, right? And that's what I call the bucket approach. And I talk about that quite a bit like all over the place. But in my baby skin solution program, we talk about the bucket approach. So everybody's got like their own bucket, where they can handle, bodies are meant to handle like a certain amount of toxins or a certain amount of things that just aren't good for our body. Our body's meant to do that through detox and everything, right? But once it's too much for our body to handle, our bucket overflows, and we see that in the form of symptoms of inflammation that's actually showing, right? So we want to drain the water from the bucket, right? Sometimes I talk about how there might be like bricks in your bucket, so that it doesn't take as much, they're taking up space. So it doesn't take very much water for your bucket to overflow. So we want to get the bricks out. We want to drain the water from the bucket so that baby can handle like these little things in life, right? And that all comes down to reducing getting rid of chronic inflammation, getting to the root cause. And a lot of times it's all in the gut, inflammation in the gut. So healing and sealing the gut and getting the gut out of dysbiosis is the way we do that. So hopefully that all makes sense. Let me go back to my notes, and please let me know if you have any questions. And Andrea, if you're watching, or if you're watching the replay, let me know if that answered your question. Okay, so let me find my notes again. So hopefully by now we understand what is inflammation, right? The importance between the difference of chronic inflammation and acute inflammation. And if baby seems to have these flare-ups like all the time so easily, then that means there's probably some hidden chronic inflammation going on that we really want to get to the root cause of, so you don't need to worry about every little thing, right? Okay, so let's see if we have anything else to talk about. Acute inflammation, chronic inflammation. All right, so I could stop it there, but let's keep going because we're on a roll with gut health here. So I mentioned that a lot of times this chronic hidden inflammation is coming from the gut, right? So it's a lot of times caused by leaky gut. So the thing is, 70 to 80% of our immune system is in the gut. Like, and by gut, I'm talking specifically about like your GI tract. So like where digestion's happening, like your intestines. Okay, we'll just We'll just say that. So 70 to 80% of your immune system is located in the gut. So if you have what's called leaky gut, things are getting through your intestinal wall that shouldn't be getting through. And guess what's there? Your immune system. Most of your immune system is right there on the defense, attacking those foreign substances, right, that aren't supposed to be there, aren't supposed to be leaking through your gut. Your immune system is your line of defense saying, hey, this isn't right. We don't want this stuff here, causing inflammation, right? Because that's the immune system's natural response to promote healing when it sees things that aren't supposed to be there. So then you've got this inflammation. The immune system's like trying to fight against whatever is getting through the leaky gut, food, proteins, things like that baby's sensitive to, right? So that's where a lot of the root of the inflammation comes from, a leaky gut. So we want to heal and seal the gut. Once we can get to the bottom of your baby's gut health, preventing it from being so leaky, getting its microbiome back in balance. Once we can do that and the gut is functioning well, number one, you're not going to be having chronic inflammation there because your immune system is there, right? Most of your immune system's there, ready to protect. So if there aren't things getting through that shouldn't be getting through, your immune system's all good, right? At least in that area. And then it can handle other little things going on, right? It can handle if there's a little bit of an environmental trigger, or if there's a bacteria or a virus or something. Your immune system is ready to handle that, and it's not completely overwhelmed with attacking these foreign substances that are getting through your gut that shouldn't be getting through your gut. Also, it's having your gut work properly, because that's one of the functions of the gut is detox. So it's allowing your body to be able to handle those certain amount of quote unquote like toxic substances that our body can't use. So now it frees up our gut to be able to do detox properly so that our buckets aren't full and overflowing so easily. So it all comes down to healing and sealing the gut. Leaky gut can be caused by, of course, diet. I think we've all seen that, right? With our babies, we see how food can cause problems. Leaky gut can be caused by medications like reflux medications. So I always like to be very, very careful about reflux medications. Food sensitivities we talked about. Leaky gut can be caused by stress. There's a whole nother thing we can talk about with chronic stress and chronic inflammation and how closely linked they are. Lack of exercise can cause leaky gut. And usually it's like, more than one thing all coming together that aren't so great for our gut health. So we can get to the bottom of all this stuff. Heal and seal your baby's gut. Stop that crazy cascade of inflammation going on and prevent baby from having flare-ups, right? Prevent baby's bucket from overflowing, and making it so they're not sensitive to everything, and their immune system is freed up to do the important stuff for the acute inflammation to keep us healthy. Our gut is working more properly to detox so that we can handle more things in our life that our body doesn't need, right? So it all comes down to the gut. All right. I think that's about all I want to talk about. We could maybe next week. I don't know what my plan was to talk about for next week, but let me know. Give me a thumbs up or a heart or something if you want to dive more into how to reduce inflammation. We can talk about how to reduce inflammation through your diet. We can talk about how to reduce inflammation through your lifestyle, because that is super important too, through stress and reducing stress. And we can talk about healing and sealing the gut. So if you're interested in any of those things, let me know. I probably have plenty of resources on them already, but I'm happy we can do a live stream in the next week or so talking about any of those things. So let me know what you're interested in. And hopefully that's super helpful. All right. Have a great one, ladies. Bye.